Americans have always been in transition. Whereas Old World families trace themselves back to a place, many New World families originated in an act of migration. Nor did the transition from an old life to a new one end when the immigrants arrived on these shores. From place to place and job to job, Americans kept moving. When he was 50, Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, the most famous American writer of his day, went back for a visit to his hometown of Portland, Maine. While there, he wrote a poem called Changed. Here are the opening stanzas. From the outskirts of the town, where of old the milestone stood, now a stranger looking down, I behold the shadowy crown of the dark and haunted wood. Late that night, after he had fallen asleep, she crept out and found a candle and a knife. She would steal a look at him, and if he were the terrible creature her sister said he must be, she would stab him. She lit the candle in the hall and tiptoed up to the bed where he slept. Raising the candle in one hand and the knife in the other, she leaned over the bed. There he lay, the handsomest of gods, Amor, her lover. In her excitement, her hand trembled, and hot wax fell onto the sleeping god's shoulder. He awoke. The story begins with difficulties. As Odysseus explains to anyone who will listen, the problems involve a terrible and unexpected defeat right after the enormous victory at Troy. Odysseus demurs, announcing that he is Odysseus and will never turn away from combat. "You rash man," she replies. "Do the works of war concern you still and toil? Will you not yield to the immortal gods?" But when he arrives at the narrow place in the journey, he forgot the hard injunction of Circe, when she ordered me in no way to arm myself. I put on my famous armor, took 2 long spears in my hands, and went up on the deck of the ship at the prow. Read by George Somas.